Yeah, so Joyce, I've been reading this book by this author, Joyce E. Logan, Ph.D.
Who is that?
I mean, Starving Your Fears and Live Abundantly Now, this book. Oh, are we on? Hey! How are you? I'm John Cadillac Seville, along with my friend and cohort here, Joyce Logan, and welcome to What's Good with John and Joyce, your respite from all the negativity out there, because so many people tell us who have been watching say we just need a break from that.
This is your break.
This is your break. A half hour each and every week. That's all we ask, right? That's all we ask, Joyce.
We're going to talk about good stuff, about what's good in your life and what's good in our lives.
Oh, you haven't told people about your book recently.
About Live Abundantly Now.
Yeah. This right here.
So I felt so compelled to write that because they're short stories and they're not all about me. There's other people also in there, but it's about the little things. And those little things are like little miracles. And if we don't look for those little miracles and acknowledge them, you don't see them after a while. You take things for granted. You think things are a coincidence that happen.
We do have a tendency to become apathetic, all of us, and just kind of walk through life. It's almost like we're sleepwalking through life sometimes. And we have to be intentional, because miracles don't have to be like, big things where somebody's life was saved, all of a sudden cancer was cured. That's great. That's a miracle. But what about the sunrise? What about the sunset each and every day? What about the first thing when you get up in the morning and you breathe?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Our bodies. I mean, there's so much to be. The sound of the birds, I love first thing in the morning. Yeah. I love to go down the hall and feed the birds. To me, that's a miracle.
Yes, and acknowledge that. So I printed this out, like a definition online. What is a miracle? A surprising and welcome event that is not explicable by nature or scientific laws, and therefore considered to be the work of a divine agency. However, it's also a highly probable or extraordinary event, development, or accomplishment that brings very welcome consequences.
Yes.
So maybe, think about the miracles. I feel like I had 3 miracles in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
Tell me about
the other day.
Tell us about them.
Okay. So the first one was, someone owed me money.
There's always a story. Someone owed me money.
And when you're self-employed, that then you don't have that weekly, coming in. It was starting to really bother me. But I remember what you said, John. You said, get the unpleasant things out of the way first thing in the morning.
Eat the bullfrog.
Oh, that's what you called it.
One of my favorite books, Eat the Bullfrog.
Eat the bullfrog.
Not literally eat the bullfrog, but just,
I hope not. So I had 3 things I needed to deal with. And one was to address the fact, head on, hey, I didn't get paid. The second one was a doctor's appointment that I had to switch for my grandson. And it's very tough to get into. It's ear, nose, and throat specialist. But on that date that I made 4 months ago, something came up that I can't switch. And I knew I had to switch the date, but I didn't want to push my grandson out months more.
Right.
So I thought, well, I've got to call the office, and it's usually you're on hold for a long time. You go through the scheduling. And the third one was, something with my TV that I had to do, Xfinity, and it was my phone. Anyway, I decided I'm going to eat the bullfrog. So I made the first call, and as soon as she heard my voice, she said, "Oh my gosh, Joyce, I was busy doing inventory. I had this happening." I got to backtrack.
Sure, go ahead.
The night before, and this is what I recommend for everyone every night, I imagined all 3 scenarios going well. And I just said, thank you, God, that this is going to be of no matter what it turns out to be. I am not going to have a bad day because of this.
We're way too blessed to be stressed.
Yes. So when I woke up and I knew I was going to do that, I do say a prayer before I make a phone call. And I do expect it to have a great turnout, no matter what. So that first phone call, I didn't have to say anything. And she not only said, oh, and I imagined it in my mailbox. That's the thing. Imagine that I went to my mailbox and there it was. But I already saw from my phone that it wasn't in my mailbox, because I have that thing you could check your mailbox.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're so high tech.
So I saw it wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
and I still imagined it in my mailbox. So when I called, she, apologized and said, not only am I paying you now, I'm paying you for next month too.
Wow.
Okay. It was a big wow.
Now that's favor. That's favor.
It was like, thank you, God.
Yes,
Thank you, God.
indeed.
And the next thing she said was, let me check something. See if I put that in the mail. She said, you know what? I didn't put that in the mail. I'm actually going to be going by your house, and I'm going to put it in your mailbox. Oh. So it ended up in my mailbox.
You didn't have to wait days. It's there.
No. So it was there just as I imagined in my mailbox. And then I make the phone call to the doctor's office. And guess what? They picked up right away. I wasn't on hold. And she said...
How often does that happen?
Yep. And she said, oh, boy, Joyce, the doctor's been out for a while. He's really backed up. I don't think we can make this, work. I don't think we can make it earlier. I think. And then I heard her say, what? And then she said, oh, wait a minute. She said, we had a cancellation actually the day before to make it one day earlier.
Yeah.
Can you do this time at 3 p.m? It's like, yes. Because it was my only free day on my little calendar.
And some people may not qualify those as miracles, but I do, and I think
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Think of those things as a miracle. And don't say, well, that was a coincidence or that'll never happen again. No, expect it, acknowledge it, because for me, it's like God giving you a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And again, which I think we talked about before, but we'll keep repeating this because you need to hear it all the time, that when a gift is given to you and you don't acknowledge it and give thanks for it, the person, entity, whatever, giving you that gift is eventually going to say, well, they don't care. Right. They don't want it. They didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way life works. So you have to be grateful. Even if they said to me, the check's not in the mail, the appointment couldn't happen, I would be grateful that I made the call at least. And I got that off my plate.
And grateful for the fact that they cared enough to try.
Yes.
So it's all about perspective.
Yes.
But also I know you expect good and so do I. And I also pray for that person on the phone.
Yeah.
And with every situation ahead of time, I pray for them. I pray for their family. Right. And I've gotten into the habit of being intentional that way. So no matter where I go, I look for opportunities to bless people in my head. I said, Father, I don't know their name, but I know you do. Mm-hmm. And I know they're going through challenges right now. So how about a miracle in their life?
Right.
Maybe they have somebody in their life who's battling some kind of a disease.
Yes.
Or has been in hospice or whatever. Because every single person we know, and we say this all the time, every person you know is battling something in some way and expecting a miracle,
right?
Whether it be big or small.
Right.
So when we pray for other people, I really believe that we're blessed too, and we may get that miracle that we're looking for as well.
Right. And the fact that we're alive is a miracle.
It is. It is.
The fact that we were born. I mean, the whole process.
Right.
That a woman could give birth, and a man and a woman, and there it is. It's life. And I know I get into heavy conversations with people where I listen, and it'll be the same story though for some people. It'll be over and over about how life didn't treat them well, about how a husband or a mother or whatever. But now it's been like 20 years of the same story, and I feel so bad for them. And here's an example of why the gift stops coming, because I've listened, I've given advice, I've spent time with, I've given my books to.
Yeah.
I've done all that, but after years, it's like, I'm not doing it anymore. I will pray for you, and I quietly need to kind of keep a little bit of a distance because they're not ready to hear it. So that old saying,
that's
when
a great
student is ready,
the teacher will arrive.
Those students aren't ready yet. Mm-hmm. And if I give too much of my energy to people who are not ready, I can't do it for my own family and myself.
Yeah.
That we have to protect ourselves as well. So don't stop the gift from coming. If you're hearing us and you like what we're talking about, that means you're at a place of accepting this and you need to hear it and you want to soak it up like a sponge because you're tired of feeling angry, fearful, tired, whatever that is.
And if you're not ready yet, that's okay. I mean, we you love people where they're at.
Absolutely.
And like you said, sometimes you have to keep your distance from certain people because with all due respect, sometimes people could be energy zaps.
Yes.
With the negativity, and that can draw the energy away from you, and that can affect your mood and how you perform at work and how you perform around your family and that special time that you have with your family. Because let's face it, folks, we're only here for a little while.
Yeah.
And we have a destiny to fulfill out there, to go out there and do the best we can with the talents that we've been given.
Right.
But even if somebody is not ready for the advice we're ready to give, or they're not ready to hear what we have to say, we could still pray for them. Mm-hmm. We could still love them, but from a distance sometimes.
Right.
But never, ever, ever give up on people.
Right.
I will never throw in the towel on anybody.
Oh, I'm there. I'm there for them. And anytime they want to talk, I'm there if they really want, not to complain all the time, but if they really want to engage in, when I was in private practice, I would see people for 2 hours. We would be talking, and I'm teaching them how to do self-hypnosis and to relax. But if they come in week after week with the same story, I would say to them, you are wasting your money and my time because you're actually paying me to be a sounding board for all your troubles. And this is not what we do here.
Right.
It's like why we started the show, What's Good?
That's right.
Because we ask people, tell me what's good in your life. And most times people have to really, but don't they have to stop and think about it.
They have to pause.
Because people are used to engaging in what's not good.
Right.
The weather is bad. The politics are awful. Yep. My car payments are too high. I had that happen, with someone who came in to fix something in my house. He wasn't even at my first step yet. And he says, boy, your life is rough, isn't it? And I said, oh, boy.
That's right.
Yeah,
but it's so much easier. Why is it the way? I think it's the way our brain's wired. Like 75% of our thoughts are negative, especially first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
We have to rewire ourselves. And that's not just going to happen. We have to be intent about it. We really do. We have to be proactive.
If people find themselves in a rut, and this is a doctor from Australia, Dr. Claire Weeks. She's one of the first doctors to write a book about anxiety and phobias and really address the fact that this is something that happens in people. Because, in my book, Starving Your Fears, I talk about that. I have that. And I call myself a recovering phobic because I shoot out a lot of adrenaline from my brain. And a lot of people have that where suddenly you feel very panicky for no reason. But if you become afraid of that, then it adds more adrenaline because your body's thinking, oh, you're in trouble.
It compounds.
So it does compound, exactly. But Dr. Claire Weeks said, if you find yourself in a rut in life, even whether it's fears or just feeling depression, she said, just by changing the way you get out of bed on the other side of the bed, putting your slippers or something someplace else, do something different in your routine to shake it up a little bit.
Takes you out of that rut.
It does.
Gets you out of that Groundhog Day thing.
And it will change some of the neurons, in your brain it will react differently. Oh, you're doing something different. You're driving down the street, not the same way to work or school or whatever. Go another route. Do something that wakes up your brain and your body.
Instead of brushing your teeth with your right hand, try brushing with your left hand, as uncomfortable as that may be.
Right.
Maybe that's an extreme, but still, it just gets different.
It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why they tell people, take a class in something or learn a language.
Do something that makes you uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because uncomfortable is our friend.
Right.
Comfort is our enemy. If we're too comfortable in everything in life, we're not growing. What we enjoy. It's like, take a ballroom class. My wife's been trying to get me to do ballroom dancing.
Wow.
Yeah,
wait, what was that? You don't want...
and I'm thinking, I don't know about that.
But you've been in theater and things.
I have, I have. Same with Patty, same thing.
Right.
But
that's not your cup of tea.
I mean, I love ballroom dancing.
To watch it?
But I mean, Patty and I recently went to see Riverdance. Nice. And just the way they're able to move their bodies.
It's fabulous.
Talk about miracles.
Yeah.
What they're able to do with this miracle of a body is just, because they think outside the box. They do things that almost, it just doesn't seem to be possible to do with the human body.
I know. I don't know how they do that.
No. Everybody has all these gifts, and people can call them miracles.
Wait, so will the miracle be that you're going to ballroom dance?
Well, I'm certainly not going to river dance. That's for sure.
Put your arms down.
That's right. Yeah. I'll dance in the river, but not on the stage. But yeah, just getting out of our comfort zone a little bit too.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, there's little miracles every day. I try to be a little bit more intentional when I'm even driving down the street. I mean, keeping my eyes on the road. But if there's a long stretch, I never even noticed that house before. I never even noticed that tree before.
Right.
And just, that's a beautiful place right over there, or this or that. Or go to a different restaurant or a different place and say, wow, this is really kind of cool. I mean, those are in themselves a little bit of a miracle because somebody, took their hard-earned money and built up that business. They had a vision.
100%.
So there's all different ways of looking at miracles.
And I would suggest when you step outside every day, look up. Take the time to look up. I don't care if it's raining. I mean, just look up and say, wow, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
No matter what the day is like. I mean, it doesn't always have to be sunny, but just that, I just find it like, when I think of it, that we're on a spinning planet, for goodness sakes.
And if something was like 1 degree off, we wouldn't be able to sustain life on this planet.
No, we'd be floating off.
Yeah, or if the moon happened to be like 1 degree off, it would affect life on this planet too. It's just amazing how that perfect balance.
A miracle. I think that's a miracle.
That's a miracle.
I think science, religion, faith, all can be together. Miracles, scientific reasons. It's the same thing.
A special friend in your life.
Yeah.
That's a miracle. Somebody who's been there for you thick and thin when other people may have left, but that person is always there for you.
Yes.
That's a miracle. Getting up and going out your front door saying, I got a house.
Right.
I got a beautiful lawn here. Even if there's, holes in the lawn, they need to be fixed or whatever.
Right.
And I got this car. It doesn't have to be the greatest car in the world, but you have a car to get you from here to there. There's some people that don't have cars.
Right.
So I know it sounds kind of Pollyanna, but, to me.
Be a Pollyanna.
I think
be a Pollyanna.
Kumbaya. Pollyanna.
Yes.
I'd rather go down that route, even though some people are like, oh, this is a little bit too much. I believe that.
Yeah. I didn't start out as a Pollyanna. In fact, I had an older cousin that told my mom that I was sullen. And I was as a teenager. I went through, sullen years as a teenager. And but then later on, when I had a roommate, she accused me of being a Pollyanna. And I thought, what's wrong with being a Pollyanna?
Sounds like a plant.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
No, it's like I'd rather be a Pollyanna than be someone unhappy and sullen all the time.
Interesting you say that because I have a guy that is a mayor in one of the towns. He's become a really good friend of mine, and he calls me Johnny Appleseed.
Well, I love that.
And now I'm going to take a lot of heat for this from a lot of folks, that are watching and listening in right now. But at the gym, several people have called me Hallmark Johnny.
I can see that too. You are absolutely Hallmark Johnny. Because you look like a couple people on Hallmark. You do.
But they said like with the attitude, they said, come on, and because sometimes if you really come across as being too vanilla or whatever, some people kind of question, is that really authentic? Yeah. Is that really who you are?
Right.
And let's face it, we all have our challenges. Just ask my wife. If somebody thinks, is he really that vanilla and that? No, she'll tell you a whole bunch of stories. Far from it.
Yeah.
But we all have our days,
Yeah.
It's a miracle sometimes our spouse stays with us with all the challenges, right?
Right.
But we love each other, warts and all.
Yeah. What was I going to say when you're talking about that with Johnny Appleseed? Yeah, I like that Johnny Appleseed because it is spreading that seed.
You were talking about that sullen when you were at the
faith,
time.
But Johnny Appleseed is like you're spreading the seeds of faith and love and all of that. And also I would say, don't engage with others in that negative conversation. So sometimes I may, if I don't know people, interject a little lightness into it. But if you find that you can't, just excuse yourself.
Yes.
You just move away. Otherwise, you get caught up in that, and then you don't see it.
It breeds.
It does.
And
does.
And the thing is, like when I'm talking, I'm hearing gossip about people. I become a lot more intentional about that. I just kind of, like you, step away or just, politely change the subject to something else. Because I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to be slamming this person or this person. I'd rather honor people. Because if they're gossiping about someone else, they're going to be gossiping about us.
Right.
Or when somebody says, hey, Joyce, just between you and I, that person, or just between you and me, that person. It's like right away, I just kind of, okay, that's a red flag. Because if they're saying that to me, they're saying it to somebody else, the same thing. Just between you and me. And no, it's not just between you and me.
Right.
It's probably between a whole bunch of other people as well.
That is true.
Unless it's your really true confident that you have.
Well, you're my confident.
And so I know for a fact that I can tell you something.
Right.
And if I say, Joyce, between us, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
And the same thing you with me.
Yeah.
Because I will honor that because I don't want it to ever get back to someone. Then my word is in question.
Right. Definitely. Talking about that confidence. I can remember, though, there was someone that I really wanted them to tell someone, and this is when I was a teenager, that I really liked this guy. I said, but don't tell him, because he was kind of known as saying a lot of things, and I thought, oh, he's going to tell him. No, he never told him.
Really? He never told him?
No. Huh? And so finally I had to tell him. Sometimes, but if you want something good to be spread, tell the gossiping person.
Right, exactly.
But, people who are, can get you riled up inside. I love watching reality TV shows. Now, I just like them.
Don't judge.
Don't judge. I don't care if you do. Because the reason why I like them, and I love to watch Big Brother and Survivor and, and all that, and the Housewives of wherever, because I like to study who comes out as the alpha and who comes out at this. But let me just
alpha,
say
beta,
this.
Omega, all that, yeah.
However, in the beginning, boy, did it rile me up. I was like, I can't stand that person. Why are they so mean? Then I stopped myself and said, you know what? I'm going to practice watching these shows and keeping my peace. So sometimes I do it just for that, John.
Right.
And when I start to feel like that, I'll say, I love all of them.
Right.
We're only seeing a piece of their life. I don't know what they've been through, even though they're mega wealthy people and we think they have everything. They got a lot going on.
Oh, if you think that person has it all, I kindly disagree. They don't.
You scratch the surface,
included. No, no one has it all. We're all broken. We're all under construction. We're all trying to be better each and every day.
If you're just looking at the money, that seems to be the one that either sends them to jail for tax evasion or they're complaining and they're getting things like $300,000 a month for alimony from a past husband,
wouldn't that be nice?
or no, they are.
I think I can live on that.
You think you can live
scrape
on
by
that? $300,000 a month?
Just barely. Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't seem very happy.
Right, and these are all miracles that they have in their life. All these gifts that they've been given.
So the miracle of life in general is to feel good no matter what. In fact, someone said on TV yesterday, their daughter was complaining to them about something they listen to and watch, and it really bothers them. And the father said, don't watch it.
Right.
Turn it off.
You have a choice.
Turn the dial. You don't have to listen to this. Turn the news off. The news bothers you? Turn it off. I've said it time and time again. I'm going to say it again. You don't need to know what's going on 24/7 in the world. Turn it on to see what the weather's going to be like locally, right? And deal with that. Other than that, you vote, you support people, but don't let the anger engulf you.
No, life's too
Don't,
short.
because it'll make your life shorter.
Exactly right. And the thing is, everything, it's like, get your news, maybe update throughout the day, 10, 12 minutes, and it doesn't really change much. It's in cycles the whole time. And their job is to bring out the negativity because they think that's going to draw you in. Just binge watch What's Good with John and Joyce. Yeah. I mean, I know it's kind of self-serving, right? Yeah. But I mean, binge watch here, at least it's kind of like an antidote to what's out there.
Positive show. Do you know what I turn on a lot, and I have it stored on my DVR, is Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers. He was brilliant. Yeah. He did a lot of great things. Did you see the movie with Tom Hanks playing him?
Yes,
I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah, it was outstanding. I remember my husband coming home, and he knew it would be a bad day when I would have a lot going on. I would be exhausted, and I would cover myself up in bed. I'd be watching Mr. Rogers. And he said, oh, because he's your only friend right now. He goes, yes, Mr. Rogers doesn't judge me. He loves me. Yeah. So you have to do that, like self-care.
Yes.
But why don't you wake up every morning and say, it's a miracle. Life's a miracle.
Right.
You're a miracle.
And that may take some rewiring with some people's minds.
Say it when you don't believe it. Just keep
Speak by faith. Like they always say, like somebody said to me before, walk by faith, not by sight.
And it will become part of you.
And live above your circumstances. Think above your circumstances.
Can I read this before we
close?
I would
love it. Because
I
know
we're
going
to close. Joyce. This is something that I laminate, and I just had, and I keep
If you
next
laminate
to my
it,
bed.
That makes it really extra special.
It must be, because it kind of bounced out at me. I have a lot of stuff that I read. You simply will not be the same person 2 months from now after consciously giving thanks each day for the abundance that exists in your life. And you will have set in motion an ancient spiritual law. The more you have and are grateful for, the more will be given to you. That sums it all up.
Yeah. I love when somebody said to me before they've done well, but they said, I can always do better. I said, I always pray that, to God to take me from barely enough to more than enough. Each and every day, so I could be a bigger blessing. I could be a miracle in somebody else's life. I could not just take care of my family, but I can help somebody else.
That's right.
Take care of theirs, knowing that the well is going to fill up each and every month with something they have. And I know that you have you like to be able to, do a little bit for your family, leave a trust fund, right, to be quite transparent. Patty and I like to be able to take care of our family and then, have the ability to help someone else. If somebody needs that little rampway at church, we can cut a check for that, whatever. Yes. So it's not just about us.
Right.
It's about the rest of the human kingdom. And animal kingdom. We have so many animal causes we'd like to support as well.
I want to leave this world a better place. And
that's our legacy.
Start with your own family. Yes. If that's all you can do, that's a lot.
That's right.
If you can do that. So all we can say is find what's good in your life.
And it's a miracle you found us.
Yes.
But thank you. I mean, what's good? Just subscribe for free on YouTube. You can get us on all the different platforms and tell your friends about us. We do 30-minute episodes each and every week, and we're just excited that you've joined us and invited us into your home or your work, wherever you are right now.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.